This is 17 News with continuing coronavirus coverage.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Nicole Gitsky. Governor Gavin Newsom is streaming live every day at noon to provide an update on the state's coronavirus crisis. Now today he will be talking about the state's emergency preparedness actions to protect public health and safety in the upcoming fire season amid the pandemic. We will bring him to you as soon as becomes available. In the meantime, now let's go to the latest on the coronavirus here in Kern County. Public Health confirms 27 new cases. Now that brings the total to 1,352 positive cases. Kern's death toll now stands at 17. More than half of those deaths are from local nursing facilities. More than 10,000 tests for COVID-19 have been negative. More than 1,900 are still pending results, and more than 800 people have recovered from the virus. Well, the city of Arvin is the first in Kern County to require employees to wear a face covering at work. Last night, the city council voted 4-1 in favor of the proposed ordinance. It requires all employees to wear face masks while they're working, or they can face a fine. For the first-time offenders, it's $250 and $500 for a second citation, then a $1,000 fine after that. City officials say the goal is to protect the health and safety of Arvin and its residents. The rule takes effect immediately and expires June 9th. The ordinance isn't clear on whether employers will provide the mask or if employees will have to bring their own. Well, Governor Newsom also says California has completed 1 million coronavirus tests. Increased testing is one of the criteria Kern County must meet to reopen faster, so the county is opening new testing sites. Now, there are 3 state-sponsored sites at the Prado Center in Northeast Bakersfield, the Kern County Fairgrounds, and the Mojave Veterans Building, plus 6 new testing sites sponsored by the county, one at the Westside Family Health Center in Taft, one at the Good Samaritan Hospital in Oildale, one's at Kern Valley Hospital, Ridgecrest Regional Hospital, and Delano Regional Medical Center, and another in Arvin. Now, at these new county sites, anyone can be tested regardless of your symptoms.
The idea is let's find a way to identify cases earlier and intervene earlier so that we not only get a better understanding of the scope of the virus in our county, but also to further limit its ability to transfer from person to person.
Some will be drive-thrus where you're tested at your car window. Others will be walk-ins where you're tested inside a clinic. All require appointments. The county says results take up to 48 hours. And Governor Gavin Newsom says his administration is in contact with the leadership of Kern County. He says Kern has asked for flexibility on the guidelines we must meet to fast-track reopening. Kern has already met most of those guidelines except for 2, but Newsom indicated he is considering accommodations for the Golden Empire. He did not provide specifics, but did talk about the reopenings of additional sectors statewide, including shopping malls for pickups only, outdoor museums, botanical gardens, car washes, pet grooming, and dog walking services. Those can reopen, but with modifications and with county approval. Still not on the list, dine-in restaurants. Greater Bakersfield Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Nick Ortiz weighs in.
If there's an industry that can get through this and that can open safely with a focus on a sanitary workspace, with a focus on protecting customers, I think restaurants can do it.
Ortiz says he is in touch regularly with local restaurant owners and stresses they look forward to reopening swiftly but safely. The governor says when dine-in restaurants do reopen, they'll need to follow these guidelines, have disposable menus, or post them online. Employees will not be allowed to preset silverware on tables in advance, and said that they will need to be pre-rolled in napkins before given to customers. And here at home, more help may be on the way for those affected by the pandemic-induced recession. Assemblyman Rudy Salas has introduced a bill known as the California Works and Recovery Act. The goal of AB 1842 is to provide relief and economic assistance to workers, families, and small businesses while expanding job opportunities for others. The bill would fund infrastructure projects for immediate job creation, increase the healthcare workforce in high shortage areas, and provide assistance to food banks, just to name a few. And tonight, a memorial honoring the brother of Gregory Porter, a local jazz artist. Now, Lloyd Porter died of coronavirus last week in New York City. He was supposed to be moving back to Bakersfield at the end of the month. Now, that memorial is set for 7:30 tonight at Highland High School to remember him. Well, new information on a deadly officer-involved shooting in Wasco. The suspect has been identified as 21-year-old Daniel Gomez. Well, according to KCSO, Gomez was shot and killed on May 7th after allegedly stabbing two women. KCSO says Gomez was still attacking women when they arrived on scene. They say Gomez refused to drop the knife. That's when 3 deputies opened fire. Deputies say there were 3 young children inside the apartment at the time, but none of them were hurt. The 3 deputies are on routine paid leave while the case is being reviewed. And we now know the name of a woman killed in a stabbing a week ago. This happened on May 6th on Pacific Street in East Bakersfield. Officers found a man and woman lying in the road with stab wounds. They were taken to the hospital, but 25-year-old Denisha Langston died. Police arrested the suspect, 46-year-old Leonard Herring Jr. Now he is facing a charge of murder. And we now know the name of a victim of a suspicious death in Northeast Bakersfield. This happened on May 5th, just before midnight. Deputies were called to the area of Goodman Street near Alta Vista for a report of suspicious circumstances. They found 25-year-old Candace Faye Walsh dead in a trash can in an alleyway. Now, the cause of that death is still pending. And we've learned the names of 3 people killed in a crash on Monday in Lake Isabella. CHP says 34-year-old Alyssa Pappas was driving a Ford pickup truck at an unsafe speed on Highway 178 just east of Yankee Canyon Drive. She lost control of the truck on a curve and slammed head-on into a Toyota. Pappas was killed along with the driver and passenger of the Toyota, 84-year-old Henry Liebel and 78-year-old Sandra Liebel. And the California Highway Patrol says drunk driving appears to be the cause of a crash that killed 1 person near Delano this morning. Now, this happened around 5:30 on Garces Highway, just east of Zerker Road. That's just outside of Delano. CHP believes 26-year-old Rianne Demiri was driving drunk westbound on the highway when she crossed over the eastbound lanes and hit another car head-on. CHP says the crash was so violent that the engine from one of the cars broke off and flew into a nearby almond orchard. Both drivers had to be flown to the hospital. CHP says the driver of the other car, 44-year-old Yadiria Gonzalez, died. Demiri faces charges including felony DUI. That road was blocked off for hours but has since reopened. And police are investigating a deadly crash in southwest Bakersfield. It happened yesterday afternoon at the intersection of White Lane and Grissom Street. Bakersfield police say a man was driving a black Honda Civic, ran a red light and crashed into a semi-truck. The Civic then hit 2 more vehicles that were stopped at Grissom. The driver died and no one else was hurt. Now, in your 17 Court Watch, convicted killer Jamie Osuna is expected to be back in court today in Hanford. His criminal proceedings were suspended back in February after Osuna had an outburst in court. A 17 News team was there when Osuna interrupted a pretrial conference to tell the court he wants to enter guilty pleas to 2 of the charges against him. Then Osuna tried to fire his defense attorney, Melina Benninghoff. Benninghoff requested a mental health evaluation, claiming she wasn't sure if Osuna understood the proceedings. That evaluation was scheduled for April 10th. The findings are expected to be present in court today.
A nice day today, temperature-wise. Enjoy it, everyone, because temperatures like this for this time of the year are a little bit below average, and we're going to continue to be pretty mild. Meanwhile, breezy to windy conditions in the mountains and deserts, dry weather through the weekend, and near normal temps the next 3 days. What is normal, you ask? 83 for the afternoon high, but we're not even going to reach that today, and that is all thanks to our cold front that passed through the area. Clouds still banked up up here through the mountains, but those should clear out here this afternoon, and we should see some nicer weather on the way. In fact, temperatures should be pretty mild behind that front. So we're looking then at the pressure gradient between that as well as that system to the north continuing to whip up the winds. Partly cloudy skies today and looking at dry weather. The showers that you see in Northern California are actually going to curve up into southern Oregon. So we are not forecasting any rain. And when is our next system rolling in? Well, we'll dry out here through the end of the week into the weekend. The ridge building in up to the Oregon border, and then by Monday we'll look for the next trough to move through, and then looking for a cool down and another slight chance of showers even in the forecast for early next week. In terms of what we can expect for rain, and Northern California today could see a little bit. Through the weekend we'll watch as some heavier rain could possibly impact Sacramento, but then down into Kern County, just a few hundredths of an inch on Monday, and into Tuesday and Wednesday. I think that will probably only see less than a tenth of an inch. Fresno, however, could maybe see upwards of 4/10 of an inch or more. Here's your forecast for today. That shouldn't say Monday, that should say today. 81 into Fresno, 81 in Las Vegas, 76 in LA. So 77 into Bakersfield, 78 in McFarland, 75 in Taft, 74 in Maricopa, 79 degrees in Delano. And in the desert areas, looking at 83 in Ridgecrest, 75 in California City. We'll be in the lower 80s here Thursday and Friday, mid-80s for the weekend. Next week, mid-70s again, Tuesday and Wednesday, but we will heat up after that, the last week of the month. So kind of cool the next few days, below average, but then mid-80s for Saturday and Sunday. Lows will be into the mid-50s, near 60 by early next week. In the mountains, windy the next few days. We'll be into the low to mid-60s. Lower 70s for the weekend. Overnight lows in the low to mid 40s. In the Kern River Valley, we'll be in the lower 60s or 70s, excuse me, and then by the weekend, lower 80s. Overnight lows will continue into the mid 50s. So enjoy the day today. Make sure you take some bike rides outside, take a walk, enjoy that fresh air.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
And local families are getting more help to buy food. The Kern County Human Services Department will be making pandemic EBT cards. They're meant for families who qualify for free or reduced school meals through benefits from CalFresh, CalWorks, Medi-Cal, or foster care. The department says families will receive up to $365 per child. These cards are separate from regular EBT cards. If you already receive benefits, your card will be mailed this month. If you are qualified but aren't receiving benefits, you will be able to apply online, and you can find that link on our website, kget.com. We'll just announce the 22nd annual Latino Food Festival, Meduno and Pozole Cook-Off has been postponed. Now, according to the president of the event, it was a tough decision, but it was important as they keep their members, businesses, and public at the forefront throughout the pandemic. Now, the event is scheduled for fall of this year. And here in Kern County, restaurants are starting to reopen with changes to the county back in business. With the latest news on what restaurants and stores are reopening, just go to kget.com. Well, we're spending a lot more time these days eating at home, but that doesn't mean you can't mix it up with new and interesting dishes. SPC Mike Wendland reports a number of apps can help with more amazing recipes.
Tasty offers more than 3,000 recipes right at your fingertips. The app features an innovative search tool that allows you to filter by any ingredients, cuisine, and social occasion that you're in the mood for. There are even videos to help you figure it all out. It's free for iOS and Android. NYT Cooking browses and searches thousands of recipes from the New York Times. Recipes feature beautiful photography, easy-to-follow instructions. You can set up your own personal recipe box, mark recipes that you've cooked. You can rate the recipes. You can leave notes. It's free for iOS and Android with premium features available for purchase. And Food Network Kitchen includes more than 80,000 recipes and step-by-step cooking classes. Choose from more than 50 live classes every week taught by your favorite Food Network stars, culinary experts, award-winning chefs, and surprise celebrity guests. The app is free for iOS and Android.
Well, would you like more information about all of this? Not a problem, because I have built in direct links right here, PCMike.com. That's my tech blog. Till next time, I'm PC Mike Wendland for NBC News.
Well, college students in the CSU system are looking at more online classes come this fall. The California State University system says its universities will mainly offer online classes. There are some exceptions for lab courses, clinical training, and other in-person activities. The decision was made in large part because of health concerns related to COVID-19 as colder weather approaches. And the president of CSUB appeared on CNN just a couple hours ago to talk about the CSU system going mostly online. She says it allows them to focus on health, safety, and quality education.
It also gives us time to prepare for high quality education, because we are still open in the CSU. And in fact, our enrollments at CSUB are high coming into the fall. So we're very eager to, again, work with our faculty and staff to make sure that we have very, very high quality education for our students that will be with us in the fall.
Zelezny was named CSU President of this year. She says this summer faculty and staff will have additional training to move forward with online courses, and they will also work with students to make sure they can access the school resources online. Well, it was a trip down memory lane last night for graduating seniors at Garces Memorial High School. On what should have been their grad night, seniors were invited to take one last cruise on campus. The cars and the students were decked out for the parade, and there were banners along the parade route recognizing their accomplishments. At the end of the parade, the seniors were invited to step out of their cars one at a time to take a photo in front of the school.
This is such a special night for our kids, to cruise down their campus one more time through memory lane. Because we always say at Garces we are a family, and so memory lane is the perfect fitting for this night because they have so many memories here.
Garces says it plans to hold a traditional graduation later this summer when it is safe to do so. Now, we do have Governor Gavin Newsom ready to speak. Let's take it over to him and hear what he has to say.
That's why we're here in El Dorado County, not far from our Office of Emergency Services, where so much of the work and preparation is being done for the next fire season. And I want to remind everybody that we are entering a fire season. We just got out of a fire season in this state. Some have argued there are no longer fire seasons in the state of California, that it is a year-round challenge for all of us. But I want folks to know we are mindful of the threats. We are mindful of the understandable anxiety that this time of year presents to people, in addition to what's going on with COVID-19. And I want folks to know that we have been preparing for this upcoming wildfire season, and we're not stepping back our efforts. We're in fact stepping them up. The budget I will announce tomorrow will include enhancements for wildfire preparation and preparedness across the board, as well as suppression strategies and opportunities to be more resilient in our recovery strategies. In a moment, I'll lay out some very specific examples of budgetary enhancements, but let me just lay down a predicate. Just this last week, 246 wildfires have occurred here in the state of California. We just ran some numbers from January to May 10th last year. We had 675 wildfires. From January to May 10th this year, we've had 1,135 wildfires. Represents roughly a 60% increase this year compared to last year in the total number of wildfires. Doesn't surprise our team here, doesn't surprise many of the experts. We have had a below average year of precipitation, the snowpack substantially below where it's been, or at least was last year. And so as a consequence, this has only reinforced our desire to do more and to be better in terms of our preparation. We had announced last year that we were focusing on 200 vulnerable communities in the state of California, and really focused our efforts on 35 high-profile vegetation and fuel management projects. 34 of those 35 have been complete. The one that's been delayed a little bit will be done in just 8 days, and that's around Highway 17 in the sort of south of Santa Clara County, more towards Santa Cruz. That project has been a stubborn project, but finally will be complete, as I said, just in a matter of days. We continue to do more than we've done in the past on defensible spaces, and Chief Porter will come up. He'll talk perhaps a little bit more about some of those efforts. Our fuels management and vegetation management are not just focused on those 35 high-profile projects. They exist and persist all throughout the state of California. They're complemented by private sector work in that space, by local work in that space, and by the state's efforts themselves. Some 450,000 acres in 2020 will be advanced in terms of the fuels management, in terms of the vegetation management, in some cases some prescribed burns, and others some reforestation. In that portfolio, we're getting more work done than we have in the past. It's still not where we need to go as a state. The size and scope of the state, we still have a lot more work to do in the future on vegetation and forest management, and there is no substitute for the work the federal government can be providing and advancing in this space as well. And we encourage, as always, our federal partners to help us with these efforts, because the overwhelming majority of land that exists in this state, wildland, is federal land. A very small percentage is state land, and again, private and local land. And so we continue to advance and look forward to securing even more support in that space. In an effort as well to secure support, we recognize that this season, fire season, always is anxiety-inducing for an additional reason, and that's the issues of PSPS. Those are 4 letters that most Californians, at least in Northern California in particular, are familiar with, but those in Southern California as well. These are the power shutoff that we experienced in record numbers last year. In an effort to do more and do better, as you may recall, a few months ago, the top story that focused our attention and focused our efforts in the legislature and in my office.
Now, you just heard the latest from Governor Gavin Newsom, and he's talking about fire season as it approaches. Now, it is not taking a backseat because of the coronavirus pandemic. Now, he did mention between last year of January and May, we saw 246 wildfires. This year alone, from January to May, we have seen 1,135 wildfires. Now, he is talking about how that is below average rainfall that we have seen, and that's the reason this is happening. Now, tomorrow, he'll be laying out more guidelines regarding how fire season will happen here in California. Now, you can continue watching Governor Gavin Newsom's whole live stream on our Facebook page and on our website, kget.com.
This is 17 News with continuing coronavirus coverage.